Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I'm proud to say that we have all of our city, state, and federal elected officials present and represented here today. That's an amazing thing. That doesn't always happen.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all, our elected officials, for your commitment to Bayside High School. I'm also grateful to stand here with my colleagues from the PTA, with worried parents of Bayside High School students, and with concerned neighbors who have a vested interest in keeping their neighborhood high school as high-performing and accomplished as this one has become, and that frankly may affect their property values should it begin to fail. I firmly believe that when something is performing so well like this school is, it should be given the resources to continue that level of achievement, because excellence should be rewarded, not penalized.
Absolutely.
But right now, we are by default being penalized by the New York City Department of Education. Our current school deficit via the DOE's budget office is $3 million. We're down $3 million, which means only 84% of our budget is being met. A substantial amount of money to keep from a school and not expect it to suffer significant negative consequences. There are two major components of our budget deficit. The first one is called FSF, or Fair Student Funding. I'm going to explain that to you. FSF is the DOE's own metric to determine how much money it takes to educate a student in New York City. And as such, all students should receive, or supposed to receive, 100% FSF. But we're only receiving 90% FSF. And that accounts for $2 million of that deficit. Did you know that some schools are well over 100%? We're at 90, but some schools are over 100%. The Baccalaureate School for Global Education, an incredible school, doing great work, gets over 120%, more than 120% FSF. Another great school, the Bronx High School for Medical Science, also over 120% FSF. These aren't poor schools. These are elite schools doing great work. But are their students worth more than our students? Are we discriminating? Thank you. The second component is the lack of proper CTE, or career and technical education funding. CTE programs that we have here at Bayside are made up of elective courses that teach students about different careers. And in Bayside High School's case, is supplemented by an incredible volunteer mentorship program created by our Alumni Association that connects employers with students enrolled in our CTE career paths. For CTE funding, we're currently at an $800,000 deficit. Again, excellence should be rewarded, not penalized. Over the last 10 years, Bayside High School has greatly grown, evolved, and succeeded. 10 years ago, Bayside High School had a graduation rate of 68%. Only 2/3 of the students going here were graduating. Today, that graduation rate is 98.6%. 98.6%. Which basically means everybody who comes here graduates. 98.6% is the third highest graduation rate in all of New York City for large high schools. That's how great we are. Thank you. Excellence should be rewarded, not penalized. 10 years ago, the guidance counselor to student ratio here was 500 to 1. So every guidance counselor carried a load of 500 students. We changed that through our whole child guidance program, which adds more counselors. And now that ratio is 200 to 1, which has obviously played its own part in our incredible 98.6 grad rate. Excellence should be rewarded, not penalized. Let me tell you about the Bayside High School student population and its ethnic diversity. We are 25% Hispanic, 39% Asian, 13.5% Black, 18% white. As well, 10% of our students are ELL, which is English language learners. So, it's an incredibly diverse school where all boats rise together. Excellence should be rewarded, not penalized. Only 29% of our students are locally zoned students, just 1/3. Thus, we serve a much larger population than just Bayside and Northeast Queens. Students currently come here from Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens. So then ask yourself, how are we able to attract 70% of our students to a relatively remote and difficult to reach high school? It's because of the massive popularity of our acclaimed CTE program and the high numbers we can post for college readiness and college credits obtained through our AP courses. It's because of our 10 years of progress and success. Thus, with all of this in mind, tell me, ladies and gentlemen, isn't it finally time for the DOE to fully fund and sustain this great school for what it has built here and what it continues to do? Because that's all we're asking for, fair funding. My last comment. I will tell you that the PTA has been approached by a nonprofit legal team and is considering filing a class action lawsuit against the DOE. If we do not receive proper funding and a proper response from the DOE, we may very well follow through with legal recourse. Thank you very much.